Hey guys, it's Shamsa and welcome back to my little kitchen. Today's recipe is for special occasions to serve up to your loved ones. I'm going to show you how I make my version of chicken tikka biryani, layers of fragrant rice with chicken tikka cooked in a masala sauce. Can't get any better than that. So let's run through the ingredients with you quickly on how I make my style chicken tikka biryani and then we'll start cooking. Okay, so the ingredients you're going to need is 800 grams of chicken on the bone. Now I'm using on the bone because it's a lot more flavoursome. You can use boneless if you wish, that's entirely up to you. I have here 2 cups, which is 500 grams of long grain basmati rice, which I've yet to soak. I've got here 650 grams of finely sliced white onions. I've got 3 medium tomatoes, which I've chopped up. I've got a good handful of freshly cut and washed mint and coriander. And I've got ginger and garlic paste, which I've made. Now this is basically made using a whole bulb of garlic and 8 to 10 pieces of ginger, which I've just blitzed up with a little bit of oil. I've got the juice of 1 lemon. I've got half a cup of Greek yogurt here, and I've got 3/4 of a cup of oil. Now the following spices I've got 2 sets of spices, one for the marination for the chicken and the other one for the masala. So the spices for the chicken are a teaspoon of salt, coriander powder, garam masala, degi mirch, turmeric powder and dry tandoori masala. Now I use the Raja blend, and I've got 1/4 of a teaspoon of red food colouring. Now for the masala, the following spices I've got: half a tablespoon of salt, coriander powder, degi mirch, garam masala, regular chili powder, and I've got 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder here. And the whole spices you need for when we come to boiling our rice are the following. I've got 1 tablespoon of cumin seeds, I've got 5 green cardamom pods, I've got 2 cinnamon sticks, I've got around 10 to 12 black peppercorns, I've got 6 cloves, I've got 4 bay leaves, and I've got 3 black cardamom pods. I've got here 1 heaped tablespoon of salt for the rice water, and I've also got 1 heaped tablespoon of green chilies, which I've blitzed with a little water, and I've got 1/4 of a teaspoon of orange food colouring when we come to layer our biryani. Now we also need extra oil for when we come to fry our onions, and we've got water in a jug to use as and when we need to. So let's start cooking. Right, okay, so now we're going to marinate our meat. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our spices and just add that in. So it's 1 teaspoon of all the spices and 1/4 of a teaspoon of food colouring. And I'm also going to take my ginger and garlic paste, and I'm going to add 1 heaped tablespoon into that. And then my yogurt, I'm just going to go in with around 2 tablespoons of yogurt in there. And we're going to give this a mix and make sure all of that is really nicely coated. Right, okay, so once that's marinated, just set it aside and leave it for 1 hour minimum. Now you could do this the night before, it'll taste even more amazing, but 1 hour minimum marination is required. And in the meantime, we'll fry our onions and start prepping our base masala. Right, okay, so I've got my oil in a wok, which is nice and hot, and to test the oil to see whether the temperature is right and ready for us to fry, just grab yourself a cocktail stick and just insert it in. And if it starts to fizz and bubble, you know the oil is nice and hot. So straight in with my onions, and we're just going to fry them until they're really nice, dark and golden brown and crispy. Okay, my heat setting is still on a 9, which is a high heat setting, and I'll show you how they look once they're done. Right, okay, so as you can see, the onions have fried really nicely, and this is the colour we're looking for. And all we're going to do now is take them out and pop them onto some kitchen paper and just let them drain. Okay, so the onions are nicely fried, and I'm just going to set these aside, and we're going to move on to make our masala. I'm so sorry guys, I completely forgot to hit that record button when I was actually preparing the masala. My husband actually came into the kitchen and completely distracted me. I know, so annoying. But all I did was I took a large pot and I put that on heat, and my heat setting was on a 7 at the time, and just allowed that to heat up nicely. Then I went straight in with the onions. I took half of the onions that we'd fried earlier and added them into the pot with the oil. Then I took a heaped tablespoon of garlic and ginger paste and added that in and cooked it for around a minute just to get rid of the rawness. And then I added the tomatoes, the blitzed green chili, and all the spices that were the second set of spices for the masala, and just stirred that all in. I then added half a cup of water into that, brought it back up to a simmer, popped the lid on, and I cooked it on a heat setting of 6 for 6 minutes. I now stirred that in between that time. That's all we did, and then we moved on to the next stage of the recipe, which obviously I'll show you. Right, okay, it's been about 6 minutes that the masala has been cooking away, and this is how it looks. So you can see that the onions and the tomatoes have broken down really nicely. Now into this, I'm going to go in with half of the lemon juice, like that, and the other half I'm going to reserve for the rice when we come to boil that, and just give that a mix. And now I'm going to add my yogurt into this, the remaining yogurt. This is probably around 4 tablespoons of yogurt in this. Okay, and we're just going to give the yogurt around 2 to 3 minutes without the lid, just to cook through, and that is looking perfect. So our masala is now ready, and I'm just going to set that aside, and we're going to move on to our chicken now, and I'll show you what you need to do with that. Right, okay, so my chicken has had approximately an hour and a half of marination, and we are actually going to prepare the chicken now before we add it into our masala. So I've got my pan on the heat nice and hot. I'm going to go in with around a tablespoon of oil and just let that heat up. Perfect. And now I'm going to add the chicken pieces in. And then just add the mixture that's sitting at the bottom as well in. Scoop that off. Now my heat setting is on a 7 at the moment, and we're going to cook the chicken for about 6 to 8 minutes, and once one side's done I'll turn it halfway through, and we're going to cook it for 8 minutes in total, and then I'll show you what you need to do. Right, okay, so coming back to the chicken, it's been 4 minutes this has been cooking away, and we're going to turn this now. So you can see it's got a really nice colour on the chicken pieces, so just turn them over. Right, okay, so the chicken has now been cooking away for 8 minutes in total. So all I'm going to do now is just sort of like move the pieces about again, like so, and just cook it for a further 5 more minutes. Right, okay guys, now that the chicken is cooked on both sides, it's got a nice colour on it, that tikka, authentic tikka colour. I'm just going to remove it from the heat and just set it to one side, and then we'll move on to the next step of the recipe. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken pieces and we're going to add them straight into our masala that we made. Right, okay, now that we've added the chicken pieces into our gorgeous masala here, they are more or less half cooked, but we're going to cook them further. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lower my heat setting down to a 5, and I'm going to pop the lid on, and I'm going to allow that to simmer away for about 6 to 8 minutes. I will be stirring it in between, and I'll show you how it looks once it's done, because we want the chicken to be fully cooked before we layer the biryani up. Right, okay, so 8 minutes later, and the chicken is perfectly cooked. Just look at that. How gorgeous does that look? So move this to one side as well, and now we are going to boil our rice. Right, okay, now to boil the rice, I've got my pot here, which has a whole kettle of boiled water in there, which equates to around 1.7 litres. So it's around 7 to 8 mugs of water. And into that, I'm going to add all of my whole spices here, just straight in, and just let that come up to the boil, along with the salt and the remaining lemon juice. Now the lemon juice is going to help the rice stay separated whilst it's cooking. And now just throw in a good handful of the freshly chopped mint and coriander. Right, okay, so the water's now boiling, and then straight in with our rice. Just give that a mix, and I'll show you when it's ready. Right, okay, so the rice is now ready, and I'm just going to show you how to check. So just grab yourself a grain of rice and then just break it in the middle, and if it breaks quite easily like that, you know the rice is perfect. So I'm just going to go off and drain this, and then we'll start layering up the biryani. Right, okay guys, so I've drained my rice and I've placed all of my ingredients to hand. So all of my biryani components are ready, and this is the best bit. So grab yourself a pot, whichever one you want to use, and we're going to layer the first sort of like layer of meat in there, and just make sure you get masala as well, because that's what makes that biryani. Oh my god. There we are. Gorgeous. And then I'm going to go straight in with some fresh chopped mint and coriander, like that. The reserved onions that we fried earlier. Oh my god, just look at that. Gorgeous. There we are. And then half of my rice, which I will throw over. Like so. And then just repeat the layer again. Okay, some more mint and coriander just on top, whatever's left, like that. And then some more onions on top. And then all I've done is the food colouring that I had, I've just dissolved it in some warm water, and we're just gonna apply it here to the edges. Don't want too much colour, and that's about it. And now I'm gonna take a clean tea towel. I'm gonna pop it on top. No need to dampen the towel, and I'm just gonna pop the lid on, bring the edges over, and I'm gonna turn my hob on. And I'm going to leave it at a low heat setting, which is a heat setting of 4 for me. And I'm going to leave it for about 15 to 20 minutes on the hob today to give it done. So I'll show you how it looks in about 20 minutes time when this gorgeous chicken tikka biryani is ready. Right, okay guys, the chicken tikka biryani has been cooking away for 20 minutes on dum, and I'm just going to lift the lid up to show you how it looks. Whoa! If you could honestly smell that aroma, it's absolutely divine. I'm gonna plate this up and show you guys exactly how it looks before I tuck right in. So there you have it guys, my chicken tikka biryani is all plated up, and honestly, I can't wait any longer. I have just been salivating whilst taking pictures. I really need to try this and tell you guys. So here goes. Oh, this just smells, oh, beyond gorgeous. Oh, by the way, I hope you like my outfit. I've specially teamed it up with the Valentine's theme. So yeah, right, okay guys, all plated up, and time to try this now. Oh, chicken is super juicy and moist. Oh my god, just look at that. Who wouldn't love that? Or yeah, just get in my belly however it gets in. Oh, look at that. Mmm. Delicious. Oh my god. So much flavour. What a gorgeous dish. Guys, spices are spot on. The meat is super tender and juicy, full of flavour, full of that chicken tikka flavour. That masala, oh my god, it is honestly beyond anything that I've had out there in restaurants. It is fantastic. The rice on top, all those herbs that we added in, the spices, it's just perfection on a plate. Oh my god, try the recipe out. You're gonna absolutely love it. Make it for your loved ones. It's Valentine's Day. Celebrate with your loved ones. Love is in the air. Guys, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Your support means a lot to me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then what you're waiting for? Turn the subscription on, click your bell notifications on, and I'll catch you next week with a new video. Till then, take care and happy eating.